YouTube Nation, how are we doing today? Happy Tuesday. I have a slew of questions that I've been pushing off until this morning. I've been prospecting like an animal. I've been going out, just really crushing it on the phones. I've been making, 20, 25, 30 phone calls a day to people looking to get business from them. So I'm going to take care of some Q&A that I've been really holding back on. So this guy, Marcus Hudson, says he's a health nut. I'll continue to watch your vids. So even on that first sentence, you can see that he identifies with being a health nut. What does that mean? This is the biggest thing that you have to understand. Gary Vaynerchuk, I highly recommend him. You probably already know who he is. Him and Tai Lopez, obviously, those are huge YouTube guys now. But Gary Vaynerchuk always says, be self-aware. But he doesn't explain what that means. He doesn't explain how to become self-aware. So you have to become self-aware on, say you want to go to the gym. You have to be self-aware on why you're not going to the gym, not trying to motivate yourself. You have to literally deduce, when I snooze my alarm, I don't go to the gym. So then you say, okay, don't snooze my alarm. When I don't get out of bed, or if my alarm is right next to me, I can easily snooze it. Okay, great. Be self-aware and move your alarm away. Okay, so this guy's saying he's a health nut. And that means when he sees a chocolate cake or a salad, or when he sees a tomato or a cookie, he goes for the tomato because he identifies as a health nut. If you identify as someone that's wealthy, you're going to do everything in your power to obtain more wealth, to keep your wealth, to spread wealth. And that's how you identify. That's the biggest thing, is that people will identify. The easiest way to say it is you identify as a political party. And they're like, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican. And then they don't look at other people's views. Understand where the other person's coming from. Understand that when you are not getting what you want in an area, it's because you're not identifying yourself as that person, or you have an inner conflict. So if you want to have a better body, first of all, there's only two ways to do it. It's really easy. There's plenty of resources. So it's not about the lack of resources. It's not about the lack of information, not a lack of scientific studies about what works, what doesn't work. Number one is you have to exercise daily. And we're not talking about going to the gym and putting up 225 on the bench press. We're talking about doing a 30-minute walk a day. Just getting up, standing up. The easiest way, an Apple Watch does this, is that every 50 minutes, stand for 10 minutes. It's easy as that. You have to get your blood flowing. When you're sitting down, and you'll see it, you'll see someone that's very in shape from their waist up, but then their legs are just like, there's no definition, there's lack of muscle, it's atrophying, and the reason being, you can easily tell that they sit down all day. The people that walk around a lot have definition in their legs, or their legs match their torso. It's hard to explain, but when you're in New York City and you're surrounded by mass amount of people, you see that person sits all day, that person walks around, that person's probably a sales guy standing up like myself. So you have to identify as someone. Why not identify as someone that's health? Like this guy, he says, I'm a health nut. He doesn't say I'm healthy, he says I'm a health nut. So identify in your relationship. I have a loving relationship with my wife. You identify as that person, or I'm a caring person. That's how you identify yourself. So in an area that you want to change, you have to see how you're identifying yourself. If it's money, you're not identifying with being wealthy. You're identifying either wealthy people as manipulative, or having money will make you feel less religious or less giving, or there's too much responsibility that comes with it. There's inner conflict. If it's money or health or relationships or anything, or getting a new job or starting a new job, there's inner conflict. You're not actually identifying yourself as that. And listen, for me, it took me a while. Like I was an introvert for most of my life. You know, I would be an extrovert at a party, but then I would just go back and be a hermit. And then finally I said, listen, no, I identify as an extrovert. And now wherever I'm walking, hey dude, nice suit. Oh my God, that's a great bag. Or cool tie, or great socks. And that is because I identify as an extrovert. Downstairs, I was just getting breakfast, and I ended up talking to these two. I was like, I just put myself in literally right near the coffee machine because I was waiting for my coffee or my latte to be made. or the milk. That's where I was standing. And these two girls are like trying to get by me, and I'm like moving past one, moving past the other one with the smile that I have on right now. And they're like, they started cracking up. I said, yeah, I stood here because I wanted two pretty girls to, stand near me. I forgot what I said. I wanted two pretty girls on a Wednesday to walk by me. And we joked about it. We exchanged names and blah, blah, blah. But it's one of those things that I identify as being an extrovert. If you identify as being an introvert, you'd move out of the way and you'd never have that conversation. You'd never have that human interaction. So going on, he mentions, completely agree on your talking points, although I'm at a crossroads with your take on weed. I understand smoking can be harmful to your body, but it has some amazing effects on your body, especially when consumed edibly. In other words, eating instead of smoking, which is a clean way to do it with coconut oil. So he's saying, what's my take on pot? It's, probably what? 80% of Americans have tried pot. I just threw that out. 70% have tried pot. I don't see the lasting benefits if the majority of people smoke, because they become lazy. They don't go after what they want. It's known to kill brain cells. And listen, yes, there's health reasons to arthritis and feeling good and lack of depression, but also let's get to the root of why you actually have that depression, why you actually have that arthritis. Is it gout? And gout is too much red meat, too much wine, just too much acid in your joints, and then you just have this aching feeling every time you move, and you're like, and I have arthritis and everything else. There's a cause. So this is kind of like taking a pill to numb your depression, which is Zoloft. Pot is like the same thing. It's like, go to the root cause. Like in a business, my business, beginning part of the year, it slowed. So instead of saying it's the economy, I went to the root cause, and it's like, you're not prospecting enough, and then I have to go out and prospect. So go to the root cause of why you have arthritis. Go to the root cause why you're depressed. Don't take Zoloft. By the way, as a side note, Zoloft, by the way, we're the most medicated country in the world by far, money-wise. Canada is our biggest trading partner. That's why we get all our pharmaceuticals from them. So, and I'm completely against it. I've actually never had a prescription in my life, ever, at any time. No antibiotics, and I got my teeth pulled. I've been in the hospital multiple times. I've never been drugged, and I've had prescriptions made out, but I've never actually went to get the prescriptions. So it just shows that, yeah, you know what? Sometimes you need it if the pain is so overwhelming. But I can tell you right now, when you take antibiotics, it literally kills you need biotics. There's something called probiotics, which I take every single morning. Probiotics, you need probiotics. Antibiotics kills not only the bad, but also the good. It's kind of like chemotherapy. It kills all the bad cells, but it also kills all the good cells as well. With Zoloft, what Zoloft does in any depression pill, I know a lot of people on it. I think it's the most selling I think it's the most selling drug in the US, but I'm going to try and keep this under 10 minutes. I'll keep this really quick. Is Zoloft actually, not only do you not feel, what they did was, there's neurons, and Zoloft actually makes the neurons of feeling, your feeling neurons, not have an electrical pulse. So not only are you not having bad feelings, but you're also not having any good feelings. So you're not having any feelings at all. You're just neutral. You just go through life, no feelings. And you talk to people, they actually get more depressed, but they use the word depressed, by the way, which is identifying as someone that's depressed, like I was talking about earlier, is that there's no electrical connection when you take Zoloft. So not only are you not having good, but you're not not only are you not having bad electrical pulses, which is depression and anxiety and stress, but you're not having good. The root cause is not to medicate. The root cause is not to have pot. The root cause is to see, what's my diet? What's my exercise plan? What's my mentality? What's my mindset? Am I drinking enough water? Am I having enough grains? Am I eating too much meat? Am I drinking too much? Am I having too much milk? Am I having too much coffee? Listen, the biggest thing is that we're too acidic. We're way too acidic. We have coffee and meat and milk and alcohol and sugar and all these things, yet that's acid going into our body. Our pH levels, which is, I think, a scale out of 14. 7 is neutral, and the higher you go, I don't know the exact scale, but our pH scale, and you could do a blood test, you could do a urine test to find out what your pH scale is. And you could even just look at your urine. That's a great, does it smell? Is there color? And when you're hydrated a lot, it's flushing everything out of your body, and it's clear. So, God, I could talk for hours about this. And the second thing I can say is that people try and, have their social media game on point. They want to have their money on point or their relationship on point. But the biggest thing is you won't have any of that if you don't take care of your health. You won't be able to throw your kids in the air. You're not going to be able to meet your grandkids. You're not going to be able to walk or play tennis or go on that yacht or that plane trip or anything if you don't have your health. You have to take care of your health. My priority this year is my health. And I highly recommend you, yourself, make health. Like this guy said, I'm a health nut. People are like, I'm going to make all this money. Perfect example is this guy. I don't have his book with me right now. Felix Dennis. He's a British billionaire or probably, I don't know, right around there, like $400 or $500 million. But you know what? He's dead. You know why? Because he partied too much. And he died in his 60s, I think, at a young age. He had all the money in the world. He had all the relationship, all the girls, all the drugs, everything. You know what? He's dead. Can he enjoy any of that? Can he bring that to the afterlife? Can he, if you believe in that, can he bring it anywhere? No, he leaves it all behind. He leaves the relationships. He leaves the alcohol and the wine and the pills and all the money. So you have to take your health very seriously. I talk about it. It's easy to do. It's easy to look up. But you have to look at your root cause of why you're not eating healthy, why you're not going to the gym, why you're not standing for 10 minutes every 50 minutes and walking around. And by the way, there's an amazing book out there by, his last name is Schwartz. I think it's, I forgot the name of it. It's essentially just taking your time and allocating it correctly, and that most people don't do it. In other words, during the day, every 50 minutes, you have to take a 10-minute break to reset your mind. And the thing is, what they've noticed is that if you go 3 hours of not taking a break, your willpower, your energy, your focus, everything is depleted. I just made up a word, but just gone. So every 50 minutes, take a 10-minute break, and it'll actually recharge you, and then you do another 50 minutes of just work, and then you do 10-minute break. For me, I do 2 hours of prospecting, then I leave the office, I refocus, I recharge, I come back in, I start doing work again. I highly recommend you do that as well. So I didn't even get to the rest of this email. We're at 12 minutes right now. But the last thing is, he's talking about turkey, tuna, chicken. He's doing that instead of steak. Why do you not recommend chicken specifically? I'm going to assume they're full of garbage like GMOs. Am I correct? 100% correct. Okay. How we treat what we eat, the actual animals, not the food you can go in of itself, but how we treat the actual animals is insane. We keep them caged in a box where they cannot move. There's no light. They crap right where they eat, and then we kill them and then we eat them. Do you think the stress hormones, would you eat an overweight, stressed person? That's exactly what a chicken is. If the chicken cannot roam free, if the cow cannot roam free, if a pig is the worst. Any bacon or anything in a pig, they literally eat fat, and they're just fat. So don't even think of bacon. Chicken is, chicken I would say is probably the better of the meats. But it depends where you get the chicken. If you're going to a place like Chipotle or Pret a Manger or Le Pain, you're not getting the highest quality chicken. You have to go to a place where it says farm-raised, grass-fed, non-GMO kind of chicken, because you should see it too. There's videos out there. The reason that chickens actually get their taste and their flavor is because they kill the chicken in their piss and their crap, and that actually gives them the flavor. I know it's disgusting, but they actually showed videos of it, and that's what gives them the flavor. So you're like, oh, this chicken tastes good. It's the urine it's the I forgot what they call it, but the acid, they have like a nice scientific term, but the acid is really their urine and their crap, and combined gives it the taste. So that's why I avoid chicken at any place that doesn't specifically say where they get the chicken, or at a cheap place. I don't eat meat at any place that's cheap because they're just getting it cheap. So when you have an animal that's stressed, cooped up with no light and no interaction, and that's all their hormones just bottled up, and they're plumping out, and then they feed them corn, and corn is the worst thing to feed a chicken, because corn in of itself is just, it's like vodka. Vodka is made from corn. Vodka is the worst you can have. Corn is very acidic. It's not good for you. And I think there's something also with the male traits. Men should not have it. Like I said with the soy, don't have soy, because that is a huge amount of estrogen in it. There's a write-up of this guy that had I think it's 4 times the amount of estrogen in him. He literally started growing boobs. He had no sex drive at all. He was losing his hair, like he was becoming a woman because he was eating soy. So don't have soy. Maybe have almond milk or whatever else. But I can tell you right now, that's just not good. Not good. If you're men and women, this is the biggest thing, is that there's, like I said in the other one, is that men and women are different. We're trying to make them the same. We are different. There was a woman I was just talking to in the elevator on the way up, because we were racing towards the turnstile coming into the building. And I was like, I'm gonna beat you, as a joke and whatever. And she's married, I was just, anytime I talk to someone, I have no agenda. If they say, go screw yourself, I'm like, okay, cool. Not a big deal. And I can tell you from prospecting and people hanging up on you, you get this, which I used to have for months. It took me months to get over the fear of rejection on the phone. And now I actually celebrate. I'm like, awesome. Now I don't have to waste my time. So we start bantering and whatever, and she's like, oh, sorry, I was just listening to this thing, and it's called True Murder or something like that. And it's life murders that seem fiction, but they're real. Like, they really happen, but there's this whole, like, rape and sexual desire and everything that this woman finds juicy. And we were talking about it, and we're taking the elevator up, and I'm like, why do you think you're into that? She's like, you know what? I was actually thinking the same thing. I myself, I'm not into that. And most men would not be into that. She said it's for women. Women read it, they love it, and everything else, just like 50 Shades of Grey. We don't really care about that. There's a difference, an ancestral, a tribal reason, because women back in the day, men would go out and fight and get food. And I'm talking about literally for a millennia. And women would be around the fire, gossiping, protecting the tribe from, if someone came in, if someone came in from like a neighbor tribe, they would say, okay, pass this along. And then you'd come home to your wife and you'd need to protect her. That's why women like status and confidence, is because, and money now is is providing. It's the stability. And men like a feminine woman that is curvy and healthy, because that's going to produce good babies. And women would, around the tribe, around the fire, would gossip and tell stories and everything else. That's why they like talking way more than men. And men, if we talked, we died, or the animal would run away. That's why we don't talk, and that's why we're competitive and we're go-getting and we're driven and we need to do this and we're more aggressive. It's tribal. We are equal, but we're not the same. There's a difference. I don't even know how I got on that topic. But anyway, there's 2 other questions. This is way too long of a video. But anyway, subscribe to the video. I come out with hopefully shorter ones after this. I do have 2 other questions. I'm going to probably make it and put it out tomorrow. Subscribe to the video. Talk to you guys soon. Any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll keep on doing this Q&A because I get very excited. You can see my passion involved, and obviously I answer any questions to my best of knowledge, and obviously look at other people because I'm continuously learning. I'm a lifelong student. All right? Have an awesome Tuesday. Talk to you soon.